Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping right into the source material, looking closely at Week 22 of the Unified Course on Truth. You might know it from the Babaji Unified 2025 series.
That's right.
And our focus today, the big mission really is opening channels for truth.
Yeah, and that mission is all about synthesis, isn't it? If you've been doing the work, the meditation, the quiet time, you've got that signal established. But now comes this really critical step, making sure that knowledge, that truth, can actually flow without getting blocked internally.
And the material hits that head on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That feeling pretty much everyone gets, that your internal self is kind of at war. It's described here as having like two or more parts, each with independent ideas and drives.
Exactly.
So we're really looking squarely at that age-old battle, head versus heart.
We are. The head, that's your logic, your conditioning from society, your education, all those immediate worries. And the heart, in this context, well, that's seen as the seat of cosmic intelligence, your innate, all-knowing nature. And let's just say they don't exactly start out as best friends.
No. Let's unpack that internal war a bit more, because the source material paints the head almost like a king who's been overthrown.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
For ages, it's been in charge the logical boss, systematically trained. So when the Course starts saying, hey, listen to your heart, what's the head's reaction?
It fights for its life, as the text says. Seriously. The head looks at the heart and thinks it's completely untrustworthy. It actually calls it merely an emotional marshmallow.
Wow, harsh.
Yeah, because it lacks that, rigorous conditioning the head values so much. This isn't just a minor disagreement. It's a real struggle for control over how you make decisions, how you perceive things.
And let's bring that down to earth.
Yeah.
Say you finally get yourself settled for that quiet period you planned. What's the main weapon the head pulls out to derail you?
Doubts. Just a barrage of doubts. And they're loud. They're not gentle little suggestions. They actively argue with you.
Like what?
Oh, did you remember to pay that bill? Or shouldn't you be figuring out dinner instead? All these seemingly rational things. And the material is super clear. These constant logical sounding doubts are precisely what stop you from fully experiencing the heart's wisdom, what it calls God's qualities.
That is instantly relatable, that internal noise.
Yeah.
It's exactly why sticking with the practice can be so hard for people.
Right.
The material even says that if the head keeps winning these battles, you might have started and stopped this course several times, or just found it takes way longer to get through the lessons.
Yeah.
It calls the head a babbling child screaming for attention.
But what's really fascinating is the heart's response, or rather, its lack of response.
What do you mean?
It does nothing. The heart doesn't get into the argument. It knows its own divine nature, its immortality, and its connection to the cosmos. It just stays peaceful, gentle, all-knowing. It understands that the little conditioned head can never win in the long run.
So the head isn't really bad. It's just fighting for its old job description. It feels threatened.
Exactly. It's fighting for its perceived relevance. So how do we get past that? How do we broker some peace?
Well, the core instruction for this week seems pretty straightforward, at least on paper. Witness that head yelling for attention and know it for what it is, but then consciously choose not to buy into the drama.
It's a subtle thing, isn't it? Witnessing versus engaging. The idea isn't to, shut the head up violently.
Right.
It's more like acknowledging its chatter. Maybe like a nervous assistant pointing out potential problems and gently saying, thanks for the input, but the manager's got this handled now.
I like that.
Oh.
Okay, so this moves us towards resolving the conflict. And the metaphor used is really lovely. The head isn't being fired. It's getting a massive upgrade.
Precisely. The material uses this analogy of buying it a new computer hardware, the heart, with an open account on software. So the head, which used to be stuck with only what it could cram into its education or remember from your few experiences, suddenly gets plugged into this limitless operating system of cosmic intelligence.
That focus on integration, not making one subordinate to the other, feels really important. This is the royal internal wedding.
Yes.
So what's the immediate practical payoff of this H2 alignment?
The result, according to the source, is immediate accuracy and guaranteed success in what you're trying to do. If the head and heart are aligned and you ask the head for help with something practical, like logistics, it helps with total accuracy because its processing isn't limited anymore. It's tapped into something infinite.
And for anyone listening who likes a bit of science, the source even throws in a chemistry analogy, the H2 principle. Can you explain that stability part?
Yeah, it's quite neat, actually. Think about helium atoms, symbol H. On their own, they're unstable, highly reactive. The source says the head H alone is like that volatile, reacting fearfully to everything. But when head H and heart H combine, they form H2, a stable molecule.
Ah, like hydrogen gas, H2.
Yeah.
Stable.
Exactly. That union creates profound stability. It's not just a nice to have. It's essential for the system to stop being jumpy and reactive and start being accurate and reliable.
Okay, so let's say we've managed to broker this piece. We've had the internal wetting. We've got the stable H2 system running. We've got an accurate receiver. Now what? How does the source suggest we actually use that clear signal? What channels open up?
Well, the quiet period, that practice of tuning into thoughts from the higher self signal, that's been the foundation and backbone all along.
Right, the core practice.
But the material confirms that this internal chat isn't the only way the self can communicate with you. Once that H2 alignment is solid, a lot of other methods can become legitimate pathways for receiving information.
Okay, now here's where I have to jump in, because the list of tools mentioned is, well, it's pretty diverse.
It is.
We're talking quiet time, yes, but also things like Ouija boards, tarot cards, runes, pendulums. I mean, isn't there a risk here, including these sometimes quite controversial external tools? Doesn't it risk making the deep internal work of H2 integration seem less important?
That's a really fair question, and it's something the source material addresses very, very carefully. It includes those methods, but not because the tools themselves have some inherent magic.
No.
They're seen more as external focusing mechanisms, aids. What actually makes them legitimate or not is the H2 alignment you've already achieved and the two non-negotiable safeguards you absolutely must use first.
Right, the safeguards. Let's make those crystal clear. This feels like essential wisdom if anyone's even thinking about exploring these other channels.
Absolutely essential. First, you must always close your aura to uninvited influences. Think of it like setting up a firewall to block external noise or interference. Keep the channel clean.
Okay, close the aura. Got it. And the second rule. This one feels like the final check that the heart is still in charge.
Yes. You must ask your higher self if using that specific method, whether it's a pendulum, cards, whatever, is actually in your highest and wisest interest to communicate in that other way right now.
And crucially,
You cannot ignore a no. If you get a no, you stop. Don't proceed. These two steps basically confirm the heart is leading, ensuring the channel is clear, safe, and genuinely beneficial for you at that moment.
when you put it like that, the specific tool almost becomes secondary. The real work is the internal state and the explicit permission check.
Exactly. The tool is just a potential interface.
The source also brings up some really ancient techniques like using L-rods, those bent metal wires, often used for dowsing, finding water. It mentions this technique is known for high accuracy.
Right, and including that just shows that the underlying principle, channeling through some kind of external focus point, getting a physical yes-no or a deeper answer, it's not new, it's ancient. Even a standard deck of playing cards could work, the text says, if you predetermine the meanings for the cards with your higher self. The device itself is just, well, it's just a physical alphabet for that unified H2 intelligence to use.
The most elaborate example given is this thing called the light table technique. Sounds almost theatrical. Two people, a small table.
It's definitely an intriguing one.
They unify with God, and then the higher self physically lifts two legs of the table to communicate.
Yeah, that's the description. 3 taps for yes, 1 tap for no. But again, look at the safeguards built in. You have to check the table's aura first.
Okay.
And then you have to verify who or what is communicating by asking it to tap out the letters of its name one by one. Rigorous checks.
And here's the kicker, right? The thing that loops right back to that H2 principle. The success of this whole light table thing depends entirely on both people knowing, not just hoping or wishing, but absolutely knowing the table will rise.
Precisely. If either person's head pipes up with doubt, this is silly, this won't work, the channel shuts down instantly.
Because the connection is broken.
Exactly. The table is just a piece of furniture. The actual channel is the shared unified belief system, the H2 state of the participants. If the head's still arguing, you get zip, nada, silence.
Which leads us really nicely into the main practice recommended for this week. And it's maybe the most sustainable and practical channel for most people day to day, writing the truth.
Yes. This exercise gets a lot of emphasis, mainly because it creates such a clear, tangible record of the communication. The source calls it auto-writing.
Auto-writing. Now, it's important to distinguish this, isn't it? It's not the same as what people might think of as traditional automatic writing.
Absolutely critical distinction. Yeah. Automatic writing often implies some kind of trance state where the person might not even be conscious of what's coming through the pen.
Right, maybe even feeling like something else is moving their hand.
Correct. Auto writing, as described here, is totally different. The pen stays firmly in your control. You are fully conscious, fully present.
So what are you doing then?
You're simply writing down the communication, the insights, the answers, the flow that you've already been receiving, maybe speaking out loud or just thinking during your quiet period.
Oh, okay, so it's about capturing that flow.
Exactly. The exercise is about noticing how smooth and effortless it is when you're in that connected state. And the absolute key instruction is remove judgment while you're writing. Don't judge what you're writing, just write. Read it later for meaning.
Just let it pour out.
Let it pour out. The act of writing it down helps solidify the information, gets it out of the purely mental realm.
That lack of judgment feels huge, because the head just loves to jump in and edit, criticize, or doubt the second something profound starts to surface, doesn't it?
Oh, instantly. Is that really true? Where did that come from?
Yeah. So by just committing to the physical act of writing, getting it down without filtering, you capture insights that might otherwise just poof, vanish the moment you get up or get distracted.
And this focus on creating a record is why this practice is considered so valuable. The source notes that this very method, this auto writing, is how many great manuscripts, spiritual texts, and even significant scientific breakthroughs have been born.
Really? Scientific breakthroughs too?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Because it provides that vital record for posterity. It captures insights that might be coming from a level far beyond your immediate conscious thinking mind, things that could easily be forgotten otherwise.
So let's try and wrap this up for you listening. We've traced this journey from, well, internal chaos, really the head acting like a worried king, all the way to this stable, powerful union of the royal internal wedding, that H2 principle.
And that stability, that alignment, is the absolute non-negotiable foundation before any channel, whether it's sitting quietly, using a pendulum, or even that funky light table.
Or just a pen and paper.
Or just a pen and paper. Before any of them can function clearly and accurately, the H2 state has to be there first.
And the power of that union, that integrated self, seems to be fully realized when you actually give the truth some form.
Yes. The ultimate insight here feels like it's about permanence, your deepest truth, the communication flowing from your connected cosmic intelligence. Maybe it needs to exist somewhere beyond just your fleeting thoughts or memory.
Which brings us to a final provocative thought for you to mull over this week. If this profound wisdom you're starting to access, this H2 communication, isn't just meant for your own personal growth, what if it's actually intended, as the source implies with those breakthroughs, to serve the greater good somehow?
That's a big thought.
It is. So the question becomes, what wisdom, what insight, what potential breakthrough are you maybe allowing to be lost simply because you haven't yet committed that subconscious flow, that heart-lit insight, onto paper? The only way, perhaps, to ensure the deepest truth emerging from your integrated H2 system truly survives, and maybe even serves others, is to give it that permanent, undeniable form. Maybe. Go right.